What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Scurry and the Scrub. It is me, Jordan Scurry, and that is the Scurry and the Scrub. And we have my man Matt, the Scrub. Matt, how you doing on this lovely Sunday in this NFL wild card weekend? I guess, right? That's what they
Yeah,
call it.
I mean, none of that. I don't care about any of that because my
You
team's
know, your
trash, your
team's
team's
trash.
trash. So yeah, I'm
It's
just
true. It's true. I guess I'm just trying to call it what the people are calling it, but I guess we can focus on the basketball of it all. So
yeah,
A Creighton weekend for sure.
yeah. They got a good dub without
Great
Marcus.
job.
They
Yeah.
scared the shit out of people a little bit.
Hmm.
They're like, wait a minute, where's Marcus? Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was scary, but then what was scary was Sharif concerned me. I got scared when he rolled his ankle a little bit in that game too, because I was like, come on, man. Like,
Don't
but
start this.
luckily it wasn't too bad. But yeah, all right. So no, it was good they got the dub. It was good to watch them play. They looked good yesterday. I thought the
Yeah,
bigs especially good.
I mean, they looked absurdly good yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I think it's well. I mean, I think it's funny because no one really knows what's going on. Like, no one in terms of like media has a practice
Mhm.
presence this year at all. So
Yeah.
Marcus's hamstring being an issue was like unknown information completely until basically, the national media starts texting coaches and whatnot.
Yeah.
Uh, so Marcus is like scratched from the lineup, and basically everyone found out about it at like when Rob threw it in there, Rob
Yeah.
Anderson, like
Yeah.
on the live stats, like hold up, Marcus isn't starting. Like all
Yeah.
the other four starters are in, and then Sharif's in. So that's not
Hmm.
like just a test run. That's a
Hmm.
legitimate lineup right there. So you're like,
Hmm.
okay, where's Marcus? What happened?
Hmm.
So then like I love it because I have like Creighton fans, like some have my number and stuff, so they start texting
Hmm.
or whatever,
Yeah.
and just like sheer panic just sets in. It's like,
Oh, of
oh my
course.
god, like worst case scenario, like
Oh
you
no.
got
I mean, but
COVID, you blew out a knee.
you got to think where that's coming from though. Like, even I mean, everything that went on with the injuries while I was there,
It's a
whether it was
long history
Maurice,
of this.
Martine,
Yeah,
anything. Creighton fans, they just know it's like, come another thing. Like, come not, don't do this to me. And I like, luckily, I don't know. I talked to Marcus, so I was like, all right, you. He was like, no, I'm just
yeah,
okay. And I was like, all right. He put my mind at ease at least, and I didn't
okay.
even know. You probably know more, so I was just like, all right.
No, I
But
didn't. I was like, oh,
oh,
what's
you
going
didn't?
on? No, I had no idea he had
I
a
just
hamstring
thought that's what I
issue.
was thinking. I
Uh-uh.
was thinking you knew just because of being at practice and stuff, but he was just like nagging and all that. Didn't want to make it worse, so I was like, oh, all right. But
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We haven't been in practices at all. We've been like this is where I've been covering Creighton from for the past 10
uh,
months or whatever. So I'm
I
like,
thought you were saying it. I thought you were saying like other people weren't there, but you had been.
no,
Got
I have
you.
not been there.
Okay.
So like even us,
Okay.
that's what I mean. Like even me,
Yeah, that's
John,
crazy.
like
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
like, oh, Marcus isn't starting. I
Oh.
wonder what's going on. So like so people are texting us and we're like, I don't know. And they're like, oh my God, it
Oh
happened
shit.
again. It's happening
Oh.
again. And I'm just like, all right,
Oh no. So you didn't.
calm
Yeah. So
down.
you didn't even have the info to like
I couldn't
put
calm
people's
anyone
minds
down.
at ease. You
Yeah,
couldn't.
nope.
Oh no. You should have just told. You should have hit me. I
I
would have
know.
been
That's why I
like,
was like, because it was
I
too
didn't
late to text
know.
Marcus. Like Marcus is already
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
at
He's
their,
at the
yeah,
at the game,
like
like
he's on the
locked in.
sideline or
Yeah,
something. He doesn't
yeah,
got his
yeah.
phone. So it's like everybody's like, "What the heck? Is it happening again? Is it another dream season over?
Oh,
Is it
it's
over?" I'm just like,
yeah.
"Okay,
Chill.
breathe. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Everybody. Yeah, no.
hold up a
My heart
minute."
would sank too. From the Creighton fan perspective, my heart would have sank. Like definitely.
Yeah,
Not
I,
knowing.
I I love that you
And if
agree with
you
that
didn't know
sentiment.
though,
I
if you
know.
yeah, of course. But if you did oh, that would scare me. Because if I didn't know and I texted you, if it was somebody else and I texted you and you didn't know, oh, I would have been shook.
Yeah, that's
I
bad.
would
Then
have been
it's really
shook.
bad. And you're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
something happened." They're
I
like,
was like, wait, Matt
"Yeah."
doesn't know? Oh God.
Because I don't
Yeah,
remember
that would
I
be
don't remember how the Maurice one went, but I know it was like I can remember Maurice, Martine, all those bad ones. You don't find out until they tell you it's bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
but I mean, you're inside of
My
it, so you probably knew
yeah.
Maurice wasn't
The
right
worst,
the
yeah,
night
the
before.
worst.
So
I mean, the Maurice one was the worst because he we found out about his knee in the training room, and it was like
at Xavier,
no when we came back. So
okay,
we were
yeah,
at Creighton in the championship center, and we had the day off the next day when we came back. But we were all, rehab. You go to the training room and do all your stuff, and we were all there. But we were all there doing our rehab, but we were all there because Maurice and the doctor were meeting, and they went. Ben McNair, the trainer for Creighton, has a office, and they met in there, and we were all like, I remember we were all like waiting in the gym, like we were all kind of just like lingering out there, pretending like we weren't all waiting for the news, and
So
just
hold
kind of
up,
like
time
shooting.
out real quick. Did you guys was there like a consensus among you guys in terms of like a vibe where you're like, this is really bad, and if it's gonna surprise us, it's
Mhm.
gonna be good news? Were you all kind of like down about it?
Yeah,
Were you
yeah,
expecting the
yeah.
worst? I guess is my
We
point.
were like, we were expecting the worst, but we kind of were like, maybe it's just like a meniscus tear, maybe it's just like something not ACL,
Hmm.
anything but ACL. Maybe it's
Hmm.
a structural thing. Maybe it's a anything. We were all
Hmm.
thinking, and that one was just tough, man, because it, to see the look on his face after, like, because we were all like, like we're just there, and to see the look on his face after, because like he's Maurice is just a leader by nature, man, and so to see him like after that one, how he was feeling, like we were all I'm in the training room, man. I'm freshman. I'm like, this is what I'm thrown into, and I'm like, man, and that's my man. So I was tearing up, everyone started like, man, like at that point in the season. So
Yep.
no, glad that's not the case though.
Glad that's not the
Glad that's
case.
not
You're right. Yeah.
glad that's not the case with
Sorry to set
Marcus.
that negative vibe, but
Sorry
that's
to set that negative vibe
what
back. I want to, but yeah,
it's
no, glad it's not that.
it's like it's odd in a way because you're talking like a lot of these Creighton fans talk because you've experienced it now,
Yeah,
but they've
yeah.
they've like also
Live through it. It's
the
hard
heartbreak in certain
because
ways.
that's the
Like,
thing. The great thing about Creighton fans is because they're so invested in like all of us personally that it's
mhm,
like when something like that does happen to like a Maurice or a Martine, right? Like they feel that too. They're like, oh man, like that's my man, like Martine, like sucks that he's got to go through this now, right? Like they feel like they're going through it,
yeah.
like more than most fan bases for college teams anywhere. So like because most like even like you getting texts from people, like most college
Hmm.
fan bases, like I mean the big ones, but like to have that investment, it's like
Yeah,
that's a
it
real
was crazy.
that's real fandom.
I
That's
didn't even
real.
respond to any of them because I was like, I can't make you feel
Nah,
good
you
because I don't
can't.
have. I can't even lie to you and say
Yeah,
it's not a big deal when it is. Like,
yeah,
I can't even do that. I have no idea what's wrong with him. I'm finding out when you find out. So,
yeah.
um, that was kind of. I mean, but honestly, his mood looked like he just from what the
Hmm.
camera showed or whatever. Obviously, I didn't like watch him, but it seemed like he was in good spirits. Like
Yeah,
even
it did.
pregame, like he was
Hmm.
talking to Sharif and
Hmm.
DJ, and
Hmm.
he was like he had that Marcus smile, like a confident,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're all good. Don't worry about this. We got this.
The
Like
chemistry was there for sure. I
yeah.
think
So
that's
like
yeah.
I
He
think
said
once
that.
once the camera showed that, I was like, oh,
Mhm.
he's fine. He's gonna get them
No,
together. Like
his presence was
they'll be
still
okay. They'll
his
be okay.
presence was still felt like on the court and in the arena. Like you could see that for
Yeah.
sure.
And then Sharif comes out and bangs that first three, and it's like, oh, they're in
Hmm.
business now. Okay, like
It's
that's
that first three. He was facilitating real well. I thought he was getting in the lane doing this thing.
mm-hmm.
Killed him in transition though too. I mean, like the thing is with Creighton, and that was my one takeaway from the game is if they score like that in transition, the bigs play that well, and they're hitting threes, you can't beat them.
Right, can't right, like it's
You
impossible.
can't. It's
Yeah,
impossible. Like
yeah.
that, the combination of that much transition offense, hitting threes, and like, yeah, no.
See
And if the bigs play like that, they rebound. DJ 10 rebounds. Ryan and CB dunking everything they get. Like it's all like touch it, like getting it, going right back up. Like, yeah, no, you can't.
I've been on the wagon where like I don't think Gonzaga is going to lose this year, and because I've seen them do that like
Hmm.
multiple times, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
if that's even like a normal, realistic part of their game from an expectation standpoint, like where you got to worry about,
Hmm.
okay, are they about to hit us with 5 minutes of basketball nirvana right here? Like
Hmm.
you just can't. They're not going to lose because they'll even if they have an off game for maybe 20 to 25 minutes,
Hmm.
it's coming. Like something's
Hmm.
coming. You know?
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
yesterday,
they do a really good. Not to interrupt you, but like they've always done a really good job of that. And I just remember back to when we played them when they had Zach Norvell and they came to Creighton,
yeah.
Rui and Norvell. Gonzaga's always done a really good job of that because they're like and I always felt this way about Norvell and Josh Perkins when they played, um, was they're such good setup player. Like the whole first half they're playing, they're just setting up the second half. They're like, where are you going to leave me? Like I remember Zach Norvell because he was like 0 for or hit 1-3 in like the first half.
Yeah.
And then came out and was like 4 for 5 in the first 5 minutes. I was like, oh, so he was just trying to decide which shots he was going to start torching us with in the second half. Like, oh, okay, that's what you were doing. You were just joking around in the first half. And then you decided you were going to turn. Oh, okay. And I was like, okay. But so they've always done it like that because that's how they are now. That's how they are now. Because it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna play around with you, and then they're like, oh yeah, but wait, we have 4 pros right here, so we'll just show you that for like 5 minutes, and then the game's over. Like you're like, oh, okay.
They're like, that's the thing. They're more talented versions of that, like that. Suggs and Kispert. Like you have to guard. I mean, Kispert, you have to guard like Mitch, but Kispert. You have to guard like Mitch, but he's like aggressive like Kobe. So he'll even if you have him at 30 feet, he's still chucking. Like he doesn't care.
But Kispert's just his advantage. Kispert's big, man. Kispert's like
strong,
solid 6'6", 6'7",
like built like Denzel. Yeah,
like built like Denzel, exactly.
Yeah, like that's
hard to bump off driving to the basket. Hard to bump off his balance point too. Like, he's gotten better.
You gotta have like a middle. You gotta have like a Ray Lewis middle linebacker type.
Is he a senior? Is he a senior?
I mean, good Lord, if he's not.
Do you know?
He's going pro. It's his last year. Stop it. Like he's gone. he's gonna be a first round pick. Like
no, definitely.
Yeah,
he has to be a junior or senior.
Yeah, but anyway, like to the point of watching Creighton this week, what they did to Seton Hall, and then yesterday without Marcus, I just it blows me away because I did not think they were capable of operating at that level without Marcus. I mean, their ball movement,
I didn't either.
Their continuity, their efficiency, the pace they set. Now, obviously, I want to say one thing about the pace. I think it was absolutely out of control. Like I don't think there were none of those possessions where Marcus would walk the ball up and just like tell everyone to take a breather for a minute, run a set, execute something, and just like
they were gone.
It was like
they said Sharif is point guard. We running a marathon today. It's a Saturday. I loved it though.
It was like watching the Tour de France. It was like these dudes are just humming now. Like they
were at home. That fan advantage, I could tell. It gets them hype, man.
Yeah, but it got them tired late in the second half.
Oh, definitely.
It was like, okay, now the human beings are starting to show a little bit because it wasn't sustainable. But that first half was just like I've never seen balance.
Track race.
I've never seen balance. I mean, they had 56 points at half, 56, which is like holy crap. Only one dude was in double figures, and it didn't even happen until like 30 seconds left in the half. Think about that.
Who was it?
Denzel. He had 11.
Oh yeah,
and he didn't get it until the last bucket.
Yeah, no, because everybody was getting in and running.
Everybody scored. Everyone in like the gym was getting buckets.
What's the drill? What's that drill?
Husky shooting, right?
Husky shooting.
Yeah, I love that drill, right? Yes.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, it was husky shooting.
Husky shooting is my favorite drill that you guys ever run because like it's just I don't know how to describe it for people because I'm gonna screw it up. But everybody's got a ball, right? Or like so everybody got a ball and you guys like share it, rebound it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just a massive humanity.
It's basically like you try to explain it.
I'm gonna try and then you can correct me because you've done it like in your sleep. So it kind of looks like 3-man weave concepts, but just like really compact. Like they're all in they're all at 3-point line in the paint, in the mid-range area at the rim. You know what I'm saying? So it's just constant interchange, handoffs, rebounds, shots, and they have to try to score the goal. Like Mac will say a number, so they have to try to score
it's usually around 1-7 because you do it for 5 minutes, and it's basically like you're putting up as many shots as possible. Like the whole team is in lines facing each other, and you start like either on the block or you're at the elbow. You go like. Take steps. So you start at the block, then you go to floaters, and then you go to jump shots, and then you go to threes, and so on and so forth. And you go one end to the next. The point is to just get up as many shots as you can. Like the whole team, everyone's trading off the ball to get up as many shots as you can from each set spot. And so usually we try to get around like if we're really cooking, like 180, I think it was.
Yeah,
right?
180 is
Around
usually the high
180
end
is like
ones. Yeah,
high end.
yeah.
But like we start off the season trying to get like 170, I think that's some like we start there. But yeah, no, it's just getting up as many shots
It's
from as many spots as
crazy.
possible. It's hectic, but that's what makes you want to get your mind going. It's like this is
Yeah,
the frequency at which we want to score this basketball.
it's crazy, and that's like basically yesterday's first half was Husky shooting. It was like we're gonna move the ball, we're gonna play with a crazy pace, and everyone's gonna get a shot up. Like you know what I mean? It was insane because no one went off. No one had like a he's cooking. Everybody was going off. Like
everybody for their period of time.
Yeah. That's what there wasn't like a point in that first half where I'm like, oh, he's got to keep getting the rock right there.
But so
it's
the
like
one
everybody was like, he would hit 2, he would hit 1, he would hit 2, he would hit 2, he would hit 2. Like they were just like.
But I think the one to make note of,
crazy.
the one to make note of, because Alex hit like 4 threes, didn't
he? Yeah, he did. Did they all come in the first half though? I'm just talking about the first half.
No, not in the first half.
He went off for a period for sure.
Yeah. I don't think they were.
And then Denzel got going late to close.
Denzel got going late, yeah.
But that first half was like all.
But was that?
You might as well just had a bunch of.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the first time he's like hit for like? That was the first time I seen Alex in his groove. Like.
Yeah, actually, let me look because he hadn't scored that many since in 2 years. I know that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And his career high at Duke was 20. So
he had a sick little reverse too when he went baseline. Did you see that one?
Yeah, where Sharif had him in transition and he hit him in the corner and he got the close out. And he used the rim as that. He used the rim as like
up and under with the right.
Yeah, that was nasty.
That was nice. So it was good to see him get going, man. It was really good to see him get going.
Oh, for sure. I
hadn't seen him like go off at home. So now he has a feel for it. That's scary.
Okay, so he had only hit 4 threes twice in his career, both of them against Syracuse. So yesterday was
the zone. He was the zone killer.
Yesterday was the third time.
Pulling up.
He's the zone killer. Yeah. Yeah, both of his career highs are against Syracuse. He had 20, and then he had 16, and he had 16 yesterday. So that's the only time he's had 15 or more in his career.
Yeah,
so he is the zone. He is the zone killer.
So good to see him get going. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be scary.
I know. You got like some top 100 Duke recruit, like as your what? Ryan's 6th. So what is Alex? 7th or 8th, depending on Antoine. 7th, 8th, no, Sharif too. Sharif is 7 because he comes in from Marcus. So yeah, he's like 7th or 8th man off the bench, and you got
I guess
just a top 100 recruit coming off the bench and 7. Yeah, that might have been.
And Antoine, like what?
That's what I mean. This whole week they clicked offensively, like it's like it got scary because now you're like.
No, I started having I'm like, can you imagine if like Mitch, Marcus, Alex all go off like in a game?
Yeah.
And then I was
imagine if DJ
and that's, that's what I'm saying. And I'm leaving out so many other people too. I'm like Antoine, DJ, Christian.
You didn't even name the best.
I didn't even say Marcus. Like
you named 3 dudes and didn't even get to the one who's playing the best right now.
Oh, I said Marcus first. Though. I said Marcus first, and I didn't even say Sharif.
Yeah, you said Marcus, Mitch, Alex. Mm-hmm. And then DJ's like playing the best of anyone.
DJ, and
then you got Denzel who's leading. Denzel's actually leading the team in scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's like the 5th guy we just named right there. And then we didn't even say Antoine yet, who can come off the bench and get 20. Like Kalkbrenner, who got what?
Ryan, who's been playing more solid every.
He killed Seton Hall and just owned St. John's at the rim yesterday.
Penny yesterday.
This team has an embarrassment of riches, man. It's crazy. I really want to see them play Gonzaga now, like bad.
I do too.
I'm gonna be really disappointed. I don't even care how it goes. Like I just want to watch that game.
It has to. The basketball gods, because of what happened to Creighton in 2020. I'm sorry, my Creighton team. What happened at the end of the year? They're gonna reward this team. They're gonna give them this Gonzaga matchup's gonna happen one way or another. I don't care if it's in the tournament. I don't care where it is. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I guess that's the only way it would happen. But
what if all this bad luck and pain is like going to lead to like 4 straight natties or something like that? It's all like building towards just an absurd.
That's the most.
Just an absurd stretch that no one could even have imagined.
That's the most optimistic thing I think I've ever heard you say.
For sure. Yeah, I went crazy with that one.
You did.
But I tried to put together all the bad luck. Like Corver's senior year team, they won 28 games. Mm-hmm. and then they had JJ Redick and Duke waiting for him in the second round, and they got
that's
beat by
always
Central
fun.
Michigan. Like they got freaking
Really?
rolled. Yeah, like they were down. What were they down?
Why did
In
I
like,
not? But Central Michigan, they had to have some athletes at
they
that
had
time.
Chris Kaman. Like he was an NBA
Oh,
player.
really?
Yeah, like he was a big 7-footer.
Why did I
But
not know he went to? I know
and
he
then
went to Clippers. Why did I not know he went to Central?
Mike Mansell was, I don't think he played in the pros, but he had like
What
30,
year was that?
2003.
Oh, three.
Yeah. Yeah, they were down like I'll look it up, but they were down like 20 something. Like it wasn't even a
Yeah, no.
they
Chris
made
Kaman, Chris
it a
Kaman was a.
game at the end, but it
When
was
did Chris Kaman get drafted?
I thought it was that year, I think.
Yeah, it had to be.
Hold up, let me
That's a
pull it up.
throwback.
I just put my phone in front of the camera.
Yeah, he was the sixth pick. Chris Kaman was the sixth overall pick.
Yeah. Let me see what the schedule. I don't think they might not have a box score in here. I'll have to look it up on Creighton's thing. Let's see. Oh no, they have a box score. Yeah, I don't know. But they lost by 6, but yeah, so they had won 20. They were 29-4 going into that, and they got a 6 seed. And then Duke was like just chilling in the second round, and everybody was like, "Oh man, Kyle Korver," because Korver was like one of the best 3-point shooters in the country that year. Like I think he was the all-time leader in Valley history, and then JJ Redick was on the other end. So everybody's like, "Oh shoot, these are like legitimately 2 of the best 3-point shooters in college basketball history." So like everybody was hyped.
So that was like the equivalent. Like you wanted that matchup as bad as you want Creighton Gonzaga now, or you want Creighton Gonzaga more than?
No, I want that. I want Creighton Gonzaga way more than that.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, I was just that's the starting point of the bad luck stretch, basically. I'm trying to find where their largest lead was. It doesn't even say. They were cooking them though. It was bad. Creighton was down 16 at halftime. They only scored 22 points. They scored 51. Yeah, they scored 51 in the second half to like make it a ball game, basically.
Jeez.
But they were getting smoked.
Where was the game?
I remember.
Where was the
game? Salt Lake City, I think is where it was.
Really?
You know what else happened that night? We declared war on Iraq.
Oh my!
Yeah, it was a day, dude.
Oh, we had.
It was basically just like
I was like, except a day like that this week.
Yeah, we did have a day like that this week. We're gonna get into that too, but it was like, yeah, wait. Yeah, because I remember I don't know what happened first. I think it happened at the same time. Like I think Creighton was getting smoked because my dad brought me to a watch party with some of his old Creighton friends because they went to school together or whatever. And so they're just getting rocked, you know what I mean? So I left the party area and just like went upstairs to one of the bedrooms and just like kind of like just like laid down on the bed and just like all pissed off, you know. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wasn't like being social. And I'm pretty sure while that happened, like they were breaking in with like Bush declaring war on Iraq with his like he was in the Oval Office like telling everybody that we're about to bomb. We just did bomb Baghdad or whatever. I'm just like, what is going on right now? This is like too much for a little
great time.
This is too much for little old me to process.
Yeah, how old were you then?
I was
03.
I was 17. I was 17. Because I hadn't had my 18th birthday yet.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so that started it. So Creighton's got this 29 win team, and they just go in and get blown out, basically lose close, but they got blown out in the
so you're saying Creighton is responsible for the war in Iraq?
I didn't say that. Did not. I most certainly did not.
You're saying because Creighton lost that game and didn't give you a matchup with JJ Redick, then we declared like it was just so much conflict in America we had to declare war on Iraq after that. That was it.
No, it's not. Okay. That's not what I'm doing.
All right.
But I am saying there is a parallel to how Creighton fans generally feel about events that are happening within their world. So there's a lot of trauma, you know what I'm saying, involved. So so that was Corver's senior year team too. So his career ended.
Oh, so that was
Yeah.
it.
Now, see the look on your face right there? Now you get it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So that was Corver's senior year team. And then Doug's senior year team, you go back to that, just getting absolutely, I mean, didn't even belong on the floor with Baylor, right? Like, game was over with like 15 minutes left and you had to sit and watch the rest of it. Like, so then
I remember watching that.
So Kyle Corver's senior year ended with getting blown out by Central Michigan with Duke waiting on him.
Mm-hmm.
Doug's senior year and Ethan and Grant and Jahans and all them, their senior year ended just in a massacre, right? Like, that's not how they deserve to go out. And then Maurice, right? Maurice just like, taking Creighton to they've never been ranked any higher. One loss all year. Justin Patton's a lottery pick. Like, they've never seen a Creighton team like that. They can't.
Didn't even have a senior night, man.
I know. So that nightmare, like, it's like, oh man, we have some fun teams here that Creighton fans can get behind. They're fun to root for. And then the other last year is another one. You guys were legitimately playing Final Four.
How many times are we going to bring this up? How many times?
I want you to understand. This is like embedded in these people's brains.
It is in mine too. It's in mine too.
It's in their DNA to know that, okay, we're good now. What's going to happen? How's this going to go down? How's it going to? So, like, you guys cook Seton Hall. You win your Big East title. The banner comes down. But, oh, wait, Marcus is, like, limping around because something happened that no one noticed, like 2 possessions before the game ended on a play that did not matter at all. You're up 15 and the game's over. Oh, by the way, he tears his meniscus. He's going to miss the NCAA tournament, but no one really knows that yet. So Creighton's not really Final Four good anymore because they're missing a humongous piece of the puzzle.
I'm actually glad you brought this up.
Just in case anyone has any hope left, hold up, because maybe Tyshawn and Mitch can get it together. Maybe Denzel can raise his level. DJ can do his thing. And maybe Creighton can pull off a run. Maybe. Timeout. Here's a once-in-a-century global pandemic. Scrap all that. Not even going to wait and try it. So you're talking about Corver's senior year heartbreak, Doug's senior year heartbreak, Maurice Watson's senior year heartbreak, and then last year's team, probably arguably the best team in modern history of Creighton basketball. Agreed. Oh, hold up. Here's a pandemic. No NCAA tournament. No NCAA tournament. None. No one's going to play in one. None.
No one gets to play.
So now go back as a Creighton fan and think about all of that.
See, I'm actually glad you're telling the truth here and setting the record straight, because my narrative for like the last year is like I actually like I forget to play in the Marcus factor. And I'm glad you brought me back to reality with that, because like since I was sitting at home so long, cooped up here, I was like, we were going to go to the Final Four. We were going to go to the Final Four. We were going like no matter what. And I was like, oh my gosh, I completely like the Marcus thing did happen. Like
it did.
That was another Creighton. Like he wasn't playing.
He was done. He was done. It was done for the year.
I think because of just being bitter about it, I guess, like not getting, I like in my head, I was like, no, he was going to play and we were going to go to the Final Four. And I just don't actually talk about how that happened. That's crazy.
Yeah, you got to acknowledge that now.
So for you, is that every year? Is that every year?
So every year that they've had like
in my career. So my freshman year was Maurice. Sophomore year was Martine. Junior year was
no, I think junior year you are right.
Jacob.
Okay. Yeah.
And then senior year, we all right. There's Jeremy.
Until Marcus and the pandemic.
Oh my God. So that's every year.
Every year.
Maurice, Martine, Jacob, Marcus.
There's been a huge piece. But I mean, it's just like, so yeah, you've gone through some stuff. So you should know by now.
All Creighton fans, like
I know. That's what I'm. Yeah.
This is just in my fault. I just got in.
Now you get me. Now you get what
I'm just getting like you're for life.
Creighton fans.
You're sitting here talking about when you were 17.
Yeah.
Like
Creighton fans have gone through like four. They've gone through like 4 of your careers. They've had 4 of your careers.
Jeez.
Basically, they're like, yeah, it's this constant barrage of awful timing and luck. It's like, because usually they're like, yeah, the NCAA tournament is about good fortune, right? You got to get the right
No, it's
matchups,
who survived
get the right
a pro college.
bounces. Who
Did you survive a season of college?
Yeah.
It's like, here's
Yeah.
your reward. You survived.
And
Like,
Creighton has been that team that you're like, they've been good for about 20 years, yet they've never made a run because of all the reasons we just laid out right there. Like, it's always been something. And you're just like, yeah, eventually you got to make your own luck. But honestly, after last year, I used to get that a lot too, because people would like hit me up and like, yo, what is Mac doing? Like, why are we getting rid of this guy and finding someone better? Like, Creighton's not like, they're like a diamond in the rough. They can go on a run. Mac's the reason they haven't yet. And you can try to argue with them and like say it's like, okay, well, Maurice got hurt and, you know, Baylor was a bad matchup. And, you know, the team that played Rhode Island was, again, without Maurice, but they were also beaten down a little bit. And then the 17-18 team, like, you know, terrible matchup with Kansas State, played one bad game. And you're like, you can come up with all these reasons or whatever. But after they come like hot and heavy like that, year after year after year, people don't want to listen to that anymore. So it's like, stop it. This team isn't cursed. Like, knock it off. Like, they're making their own luck right now. They're failing when it matters. And it's hard to push back on that because they have data in their favor, right? Because they have the losses, and you're just like, well, there's circumstances, and you're like, I don't care, and you're like, all right, well, we're just gonna keep going back like this, back and forth, and you won't listen. And then literally Marcus gets hurt on a play that doesn't matter, and a pandemic happens. So now I'm sitting here going like, listen, people, maybe sometimes shit just keeps happening and there's no explanation for it. Like, stop trying to fire coaches. Like, this is clearly uncontrollable situations that just keep stopping this team.
Like, let's talk about what's actually going on instead of being like, put the blame on someone. It's like,
there's some weird ass energy right now.
Something is just
they built the championship center over an ancient burial ground or some shit. I don't know. But there's
I don't know.
Yeah, there are curses in sports. And so, like, I go back to it. It's like, maybe the vibe is Creighton just has to take a bunch of these awful situations, absorb them, and then the great days will come where it's like a college basketball dynasty in like 10 years or something. Who knows? I don't know. It's like the Patriots were a joke.
And then we can manifest it right now. I like that you brought it you spoke that into existence. I like that you're trying to speak it into existence. Like I said, like that's one of the more optimistic things I've ever heard you say. You're like, wait, Creighton's gonna have good luck? Like, what?
Maybe if you have so much bad luck, maybe the spectrum just reverses itself. Like, you go back to, like, you have so much bad luck pushing against you that you just end up falling into great luck because you can't go back any further.
I love that logic, and I hope that's right.
Okay,
I really do.
With it. But that was a long way of explaining what everybody was feeling yesterday. Before the game.
That was a lot.
My phone was like, flying off the desk. Like, oh my God, here we go again. You know,
I wouldn't have been mad if it was, but because of what we're talking about right now, I wouldn't have been mad if Marcus was even just load managing. I wouldn't.
No,
he was like, I just got to get ready for the, because what happened? Like, what did you say? What happened in that one game before? Like, he in a play he shouldn't have been in. You never know. Don't put it. And clearly they handled business. Yes. I don't care if he load manages.
So you want college basketball to load? Like, if Creighton's playing some team they know they can run out of the gym, like, yeah, let's just rest Mitch or Marcus there or DJ or something.
Hey, I didn't say it. You did.
I did say it, but you winked.
No, I definitely brought it up. I don't know. Maybe I don't care. It sounds stupid, but I'm like, hey, Creighton's so deep. Like, this team is so deep. It's like,
if they could ever load manage, they could do it. And I mean, Gonzaga sat Suggs. Think about what we're saying. What do Creighton fans want? They like know how well we can do in the regular season. They're like, in a global pandemic, can you us a March, please? Yeah, preach. I don't care. I don't care if DJ sit out against DePaul. I don't. I'm saying it now. I do not care. Tell them.
Rest them boys. Till
load
March.
Management.
Load manage this team.
Get them to March. Get them to March.
Manage this team. Get them to March. Load manage Creighton this year. I don't care. Let's go.
Oh, I love it, dude. I hope they do. I hope they take an L against like DePaul.
I hope somebody on the team hear this.
Like Mitch sits and like DePaul wins by 15. Like, oh my God, what is going on? And Jordan's just like,
no, that's cool. They lose to DePaul, right? And then they go win the Natty. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Which would you rather? Yeah, which are you more beat up about?
Don't care.
Yeah, are you sweating that DePaul L still?
Yeah. How's
That's
that?
what I mean. Last year they won the
That's
Big East.
that.
They won the Big East title.
Well,
Is
no,
anybody talking?
that's
Is anybody talking about San Diego State anymore after they won the
yeah,
Big East title?
and
You guys
that's what
lost by 30, and everybody's
yeah,
like, "Oh, see, Matt
no one
can't win
cares.
with this group. It's all over."
Yeah,
And they won a Big East title. Like, anybody talk
no,
about that
so
anymore?
some was off that day. The energy was just off
That's what
that
happens.
day
That's what happens in
against.
hoops, though. That's what
Yeah,
happens in
exactly.
basketball. Sometimes you're just like, okay, they're on, we're off, and that's ugly.
You know when it's
Like,
easier
yeah,
to be
load
on though.
management.
You know when
I'm
it's easier to
pro.
be
We
on.
should get that thing started though.
You
Like,
know
hey,
when
we
it's
should rest
easier to
Mitch
be on.
today.
Exactly, because it's easier to be on when your whole team is healthy. So like, let's be on in March
Yeah, dude.
and load manage. I'm
Let's
I'm
set,
I'm
set
actually
that
all
precedent in
for it
college basketball. Load
because
management in college basketball. Because right now, what you guys try to do is like, all right,
I'm
day
all
after
for it.
games, it's like a rehab day, and only like the scout team and the guys who didn't play a lot will practice hard that day.
I'm all for it.
But yeah, if you just like, so they already try to load manage with it just in games, and they like, all right, look, we're really
I'm all
good.
for it.
We can afford to sit a dude or two here and be all right, you know. And
Load
then
management.
if shit gets crazy, you can just
Hey,
put them in. Like,
put it this
okay,
way:
yeah.
if like Kyrie Thomas or Marcus Foster wanted to load manage, I probably would have got a little bit more minutes. So
Oh, there you go.
I'm all for this load management. Like I'm really about to start preaching this. Like,
let Sammy and like Devin and Jack get some shots up.
all right,
Yeah,
all right,
let get them some game
all
reps and
right.
stuff.
No,
Oh,
no,
sorry,
no, no, I was talking Scurry minutes, man.
yeah, you were
Why
talking.
you had to make this about somebody else?
I'm just saying those Scurry minutes are over. That's why I was like, I was talking about the present.
You are so quick to remind me that my Creighton. I can't reminisce. I can't get on this podcast.
I mean, your shirt literally says "bye" on it. I'm just reading.
It says "Bye Don." Actually, that's what I'm so glad you brought that up. My shirt does say "Bye Don." Bye Don.
I mean, yeah. So bye, Scurry. Your college career is over. It ended with a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Think of the stories you're gonna tell your like grandkids and shit. Like, how'd your basketball career end, granddad? Like,
global
oh well,
pandemic.
listen up, kids. We had a global pandemic once in a century, and I didn't get to play in an NCAA tournament, and yeah, it was hell.
But you know how thankful now I am.
And then they just like sit there like, like, yeah, you thought that shit was gonna be a happy story, didn't you?
It's about to be a whole ass year since I came, like in 2 months. Since it was just shut down at Madison Square Garden, shut down the streets of New York.
Yeah,
Yo,
I've left this house like twice, dude.
Yeah, I don't go anywhere.
I don't even. You know what's the like Bubble Boy or what that kind of movie is or whatever?
Oh yeah.
When we're all good and like vaccinated and like ready to hit like the normal button again, I'm scared. I don't know I don't know if I can drive. Like, I don't know if I forgot how to drive. Like, I don't know if I know how to like be. I don't know if I know how to interact in public anymore. Like, how do I use the bathrooms?
And this is why I got that. Like, I got a part-time job at the grocery store to make sure I had some social interactions.
like reintegrate into like a.
Because I'm like, if I would have been 0 dark 30 for that whole summer, that whole first couple months back, I would have lost my mind. You know me. I have to get on this podcast and talk because I need to talk.
Yeah.
Like I need it.
No, that's legitimately
lost it. Because like, and even now, like you're right though. Like I'm like, how am I gonna like integrate like in talking in like when people like go like back in groups and stuff? I'm like, I talk about like sports and groups. I'm used to just one-on-one now.
What do we do? How do we do this? Like,
I'm like, do we all take turns? Is that what it or do we
What's the vibe like with a group of like 7 people all like laughing about the same thing? Like, is that uncomfortable or is that cool?
I'm like, are you gonna get mad if I like interrupt you or like I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. We'll see. I'm acting like it's any different like via Zoom call, but it might be. I don't know.
It might be. I haven't talked to like more than like.
Do we talk to like? I'm gonna be like, dude, do you talk to the person you sit next to on an airplane? Do you do that? Is that weird? Or I'm still wearing a mask in the airport now, by the way.
Dude, I want to wear masks like everywhere. I think I'm
gonna wear a mask in the airport for the rest of my life.
Like, knock on wood, this is the first time I've gone through like, I'm not at the end of it yet, but this is the first time I've ever gone through a year where I haven't been sick.
Same.
I haven't been sick at all.
Same. And
I haven't had a cold. I'm the master of ear infections. I get an ear infection every year that makes me want to kill myself. I have not had one of those. I have not like you. I'm just like, humans are nasty. I'm not going around them anymore.
Man,
they get me sick all the time.
I used to get so sick because we would travel so much during the holidays, and you're on planes all the time, and I'm traveling home. The worst I ever got sick was traveling home when we played that game. Like we would play like a game on the 21st at home, and then they'd fly us home, and then we'd fly back on Christmas Day. I used to remember those because I was so, because it's like wintertime, it's cold, you're going through airports, like, and it's a quick turnaround. It's not
People
like you can be
coughing, sneezing, and stuff.
You're not comfortable at home, so you're not relaxed. Like I'm trying to see a bunch of people. Because remember when you could see people, that's what I would do during the holidays. So like going all around trying to see aunts and uncles and stuff. And like I'm just like, that was like the case for sickness. Like you're seeing so many people, you're not resting, you're not sleeping a lot. You was on airplanes, time change too. Like, and it's an hour, I'm exaggerating, but like, I'm just like, yeah, I used to get so sick around that time.
Yeah, dude.
I used to remember those practices, like the Christmas night practices, just like being full of mucus, being like, wow, we really got to run 17s on Christmas night. I love it.
Dude, you guys need to broadcast the Christmas night practices from now on.
Oh, Christmas night, yeah. Remember when
those
I
things are
I think I literally
horrendous.
threw up. I think I threw up at the end of that Christmas night conditioning. Oh no, I did, and I ran out of the gym. I ran out of the gym and threw up in the trash can. And the only reason I was okay, because normally like Mac doesn't care, like you can run. I run out of the gym, and he goes, "It's okay." His mom texted me he was feeling sick over break, like over Christmas break, and I was like, thank God my mom texted him, because in no other circumstance would Mac have been like, yeah, you can just go throw up. But like he was okay because mama texted him.
Love it. No, dude, like I love Christmas night practices because you all look horrible.
Oh, it's awful.
It looks like you all love basketball, but it looks like the last thing you want to do right now is be in that gym. You're like, this is gonna suck. Because you've all been super irresponsible over those 3 days. Like you just like have let it go.
It's Christmas. Who wants to practice? No one wants to practice on Christmas.
Dude,
anybody who tells you want to practice, they're lying to your face. They want to be a good basketball player. They don't want to practice on Christmas.
You know what I think?
Voluntarily ever do. You do that for the greater good because we had a game in 2 days. You do it. You just suck it up. But oh my God, that shit sucks.
You know what it's like a glimpse of is like, you know how, and I shouldn't talk, but I'm just saying, like, you know how when athletes like get out of their habits, like out of their career, and they start like going to be analysts and stuff like that, all of a sudden like the camera needs to zoom out a little bit because they can't fit in the screen anymore. They get a little bigger, you know what I'm saying? Like when you guys go home for Christmas, you come back looking like you had just absolutely been totally irresponsible, did not try to be right about your diet, nutrition, body, anything like that. Like you were just like, I don't care. And you come back in the gym and it shows. It's like, oh man, this team doesn't look like they can win. They don't look like they can beat a D3 team right now.
Yeah.
But it's like that way all across the country. Because everybody, all you see players, like if you follow players from other teams, they're always like, Christmas Day practice be looking like this, and it's like a Shackton the Fools highlight.
I mean, like, but what do you want though, man? Like, it's the one time in that period, like it's the end of regular. It's like for Creighton, at least in all the years I was there, like it's the end. Like you play that last non-conference game on the 21st, whether it was at Arizona State or at Creighton, like that was the last one, and then you get to go home, and like it's the only, like it's like a deep breath. So you like,
yeah.
I mean, all the like snacks in the crib,
cookies,
chilling. I'm not really pressing I'm gonna go to the gym once, but I'm not really even gonna press. I'm gonna do my little workout, whatever. Because you know when you get back, you like, well, there's two approaches. You either go hard because you know that practice is gonna be hard, or you like, I'm gonna just chill, knowing that practice is gonna be hard. Neither one works. So
no, yeah, you come back totally unprepared, no matter what. Yeah, but it's just funny. I love it because you guys always come back looking the same way, and you think when you're watching them, when I'm watching you guys, I'm like, yeah, they just came, they went home and they were like, and like that deep breath is basically like a bunch of bad habits. It's cookies, it's TV, it's video games, it's not running, it's not basketball. Yeah,
it's all the shit you weren't doing because you do
it because you're in a grind. You're in a grind for the whole time. You're like every day,
and especially you're right.
Yeah,
because preface it, the 2 weeks before you get to go home on the 21st is the 2 weeks basketball player. It's only basketball, volleyball, and women's basketball on campus. That's it. It's only people on campus. It's a ghost town. You go to practice all day. That's it. You have practice 2 days, like, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like once you get to go home, you like, I'm not on a 2-day schedule for the next 3 days. Shit, I might have a bowl of cereal this morning.
Yeah. Like, where's that fruit? Mom, you got your Fruity Pebbles in here? Where is that at?
Yeah,
give me all that.
Cartoons and cereal this morning. Like,
that processed sugar. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. and then you see it all on
Jeremy's
on
like texting you, like, what'd you eat today? Like, nothing. Like, come
He's
on, like
like,
straight up
he knows
lies.
exactly what that means.
He's like, oh
Like, send me a.
man, damn it.
He's like, no, but he does it for the. Like, he would be
He's
when
drawing
we
up
would
the
go
itinerary. He's like, oh, based on
for
that answer, he's
CB.
like,
He would be like, he would text CB. He'd be like, send me a picture of your plate. what What are you eating?
send me a
CB's like, God damn, bro, I can't get no meal.
He's like hopping on Google Images, like looking for the healthiest damn thing he can find.
No, but that's how he knows if
Like,
you.
Jeremy's like, that's not your mom's china. I don't believe
exactly,
that. Yeah,
exactly.
all hitting like the reverse image, like finding the origin of it.
Yeah,
Like bullshit, Christian. Don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I don't really know how to transition this, but you know who got right this last week?
Got right. Oh, okay.
Steph bombs, baby. Like,
oh yeah,
the chef is back cooking.
Oh yeah,
and so many people owe that dude an apology.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway, I owe him. I think I was never too that far out. I think I owe him a little apology though. Like, he's gonna carry this team to the playoffs.
Dude, there's no question about it.
If the young guys, I'll preface it though, and it's not even now what we've seen from him. It's not even him. It's if the young guys like continue to just do what they're doing now, and if Wiggins keeps like playing well like this, like, oh yeah. If Wiggins can just
you don't need to preface it. He is that good. They're gonna be in the playoffs. Like, that's over with. Like, don't even.
He's gonna carry.
That narrative is dead as you.
He's the best shooter ever. He's the best shooter ever.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. But the way he
it's actually so like the way
he plays is unlike anything else.
It's so effortless.
He's the hardest. He's the hardest player in the league to guard. From
James.
Steph Curry
on the perimeter like that. He's harder than
anywhere.
James
Anywhere.
I think so.
Because of his activity level, you have to exert so much energy to stop him.
Okay.
So he might be off one night. He might not, kill you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But you're gonna leave that game.
I see what you're saying.
Like feeling like you just played Steph, and it's gonna be unlike. He's the hardest player in the world to guard because he doesn't stop moving. He uses the whole court. And he stretches the court. Like, he doesn't use the whole court sideline to sideline. He uses the whole court baseline to baseline, basically. Baseline to half court.
He's so good without the ball. He sets everything up so well.
Yeah. He follows the ball in transition like a master. Like, when he hunts shots, you have to play at a crazy speed to keep up with what he's thinking. Because he can see it two or three moves ahead. If someone's coming down right wing, like, he knows where to go for the flip back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a master, dude. It's unreal. And his energy level is absurd.
He gets to his spots always.
Yeah, but his spots are everywhere.
Exactly.
Like, that's the whole map. Where do you like to shoot from? The court, like the
corner, corner three, like
extend the court itself. Like, where start in that corner, then map it out that way. Like, I want to
I like
everywhere. If I can see the rim, basically,
I like free throw line extended, like where that three is.
No, I wasn't asking you. I was saying, like, asking Steph. Like, where do you like to shoot from? Everywhere.
I know. Yeah.
Where's your spot? I think he hit a three from the concourse earlier this year. Remember that one?
Yeah.
He came out from like the concession stands and
he's hit threes from right. And he just, like, to me, what's impressive is, like, he's so, like, and I say effortless, like, he shoots it so effortlessly now. Like, he's such a good shooter. Like, he doesn't even have to be on balance anymore.
Nope.
Like, at all.
No.
Like, you know how, like, because I do every day, I'm doing drills, getting my feet around the cones, making sure, like, 1, 2, like, it doesn't matter for him anymore. Like, he's done that drill so many times that he's now actually perfected how to make the shot when his feet are off balance.
Mm-hmm. If you ever watch like that, remember that OKC game where he gamed him from like 40 feet?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I think he hit 10 threes that day, if I'm not mistaken. And if you watch them, I mean, his body's facing all kinds of directions.
I actually want to look up. I'm so glad you brought this up because I want to look it up for next pod because I want to know how many times he's hit more than 10 threes in a game. Because I just remember growing up. I remember like when that was like that was an amazing stat, and he's done
like 10 threes.
Yeah, 10 threes. I remember when Ty Lawson hit 10 threes in a game for the Nuggets, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, 10 threes!" Steph does that in like a half.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Like, he's made that the norm. He's made shooting above, like, I think we talked about this before, like in 2008 when Ray Allen was on the Celtics and I thought he was the consensus best shooter in the NBA. He was shooting like a whopping 33% from three. Like that was what was like the best. Steph's like, no, 46, dude.
46, dude.
That's what the norm is now. You're like, what?
So it looks like it's happened 55 times in league. No, hold up, chill.
I was about to say. I was like, whoa.
55 times in league history.
Okay, thank you.
But a lot of these are Steph.
How many does he have?
2, 4. Oh crap, this is gonna be hard. Good Lord, there's so much Steph Curry in here.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry.
That's what I'm saying. He made it that's normal for
2,
him.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14,
dude.
16,
Dude.
18,
dude.
20, 22, 24.
Dude.
Oh, no, wait, hold up. I messed that up.
Oh, see, you hyped me up. You did that on purpose. You did that on purpose.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 times. So 15 of the 55 times that it's happened in league history, Steph did it.
That's crazy.
So he's got 27% of the 10-3 games in league history are Steph Curry games.
Best shooter ever.
Yeah, he's
best shooter ever.
But a whole bunch of people owe that dude an apology. Like Nick Wright's all on there, like talking about, yeah. He can't lead a team like
no, where he dug his grave,
like Harden and Russ. Like, what are you talking? Yeah. What makes you think anything that James and Russ have done, Steph can't do better? Like, why would you say such insanity?
And my point to that is like, if this is the guy who was winning the majority of the championships, while LeBron was the best player in the league, in his opinion, because he said which I actually don't agree with. He said he said LeBron's been the best player in the league since 07 against when he took the Larry Hughes and them to the finals.
Okay, I don't know.
That's what he said? 09. Okay. No, he said Nick Wright. His take was since 07, LeBron's been the best player in the league, right? I'm like, okay, I don't agree with that, but
I mean, Kobe still has some good years left.
That's what I'm saying. Kobe won the chip in 09. LeBron went on record saying like that Kobe was the best player in the league in 09. Yeah. Literally went on record and said it.
Yeah.
But so after that period, like I think after LeBron's first championship, he was just consensus best player from that time. That's my opinion. But like even like I don't understand how if you're a LeBron guy, I think it's weird to not even be a Steph guy. I think their greatnesses are like tied to each other. Like
they have to be.
They have to be. That's where I don't understand. I don't understand putting those two of all players. I will never understand putting those two like up against each other. I'm like, no, those are the dudes that made each other great.
Yeah.
Like
same with KD. You have to.
Exactly. So
if you diminish one or two of them,
it's the other. Yeah.
You can't. The other isn't shit. Then.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same way with thinking about Jordan's career. Like.
Yeah.
Jordan's 6 titles are incredible because he stopped a laundry list of Hall of Famers from ever winning a ring. Like he hogged that. Like the only one who got him was the only like all-time top 50 great type of player. Or like transcendent great guy who could probably be awesome in any era was Hakeem. He got 2 in like the free-for-all years where Jordan was retired. You know what I'm saying? Like when Jordan retired, everybody was like, "Oh shit, this is our chance." Hakeem got 2. He beat Shaq. He beat Patrick Ewing. He beat Karl Malone and John Stockton in the West. He beat Sean Kemp and Gary Payton in the West.
Yeah.
Like to get to his rings, and he got them. But other than that, Jordan stopped every one of his like his peers. You know, the ones that he came in the league with and after. He stopped them from winning rings, and they're all Hall of Famers.
That's a good point.
That's what makes Jordan's greatness better was because he like won everything. He won it every time, basically.
Don't agree.
Yeah, like Isaiah got him a couple times. Like Larry got him a couple times. Magic won some rings in there. But that was like before his prime, you know what I'm saying? So once he got into his prime,
I hear your point. I hear your point. And the only thing I had to say on that, like what I thought about was like, because like I just think at this point you can't argue that LeBron's just had the best career ever. I think you can argue you can still argue who is better in their like prime or whatever, who is the better player. I think that's an awesome feat. I didn't even think about that. Like, because
Well, see, that's
LeBron,
not
what's
even.
made his career,
Yeah.
made his career so great is how long it's been. But like, I get like a lot of great players have won championships in that time. So I think that is a very impressive feat from Mike to like stop Malone from winning one. Stockton, like that was
For
nasty
sure,
to
for
stop
sure.
them. To
However,
stop. Wait,
I'm
but
not. I'm
didn't
not.
wait? Who the
I'm not
Pistons?
even.
The Pistons didn't win. Pistons won one, right?
When Jordan started winning, no one else won while he was going.
But they won. The Pistons won before.
Yes,
So
the,
Isaiah
Bull,
got one. Isaiah got
the
one.
Bulls beat them to start their run.
Yeah.
So like the Pistons won 2,
Mm-hmm.
and they went through the Bulls to get them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Bulls got them, and they never won again.
Mm-hmm.
Once
But so
the Bulls passed them, it was the Bulls dynasty started. It was uninterrupted. But it goes to my point, like that's what made Jordan's greatness like transcendent, was because he was the ultimate winner, right? So
mm-hmm.
if you're a LeBron stan, you can't argue his greatness if you're diminishing the people he beat at the same time.
Correct.
That goes to your point about like, look, you can't bag on
Exactly.
Steph and KD and say they're not at his level.
Yeah.
If they won while they played him, same with Kawhi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they
Kawhi
won
too,
while
yes.
competing against him, you're diminishing LeBron and you don't realize it. Because if he got beat by those dudes who aren't anything in terms of like how they stack up against him, then why did he lose to them? You know, he lost to Dirk too. Got killed by Dirk.
Exact Dirk too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got killed by Dirk.
Yeah. So you can't say like, oh, LeBron's been far and away the best player and no one else is in his league, yet they got rings. Why? Why'd that happen then? That's what I'm saying. You can't have it both ways. So like, there's a lot of LeBron haters out there, and I understand that they're irrational too. But LeBron stans do it right back. They create like this toxic conversation around like greatness, where it's like it can't just be. There is no respect for it.
Argue that at the end of the day, you can't argue because what is great? Like, there's nothing concrete to argue.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just a personal bias. At the end of the day, that's what the conversation comes down to.
Pretty much.
It really is, because it's like, what do you? It's like, what do you prefer in your superstar? Like, what do you? It's like you can take these guys, like best players. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the Michael Jordan guy that was like the first, the winner? That like, do you prefer that, or the guy who was winning against like all these like it's I don't know.
Yeah, like,
I can talk about this all day, but
I mean, it just goes to like, I mean, the main point is, like you said, it's great. Greatness can be defined in multiple ways. Impact, I think, is like the best way to define it. You know, I think when I think about Michael Jordan's greatness, the number one thing that probably comes to my mind, other than the winning, which I think is like too easy to latch onto, and it's probably an easy conversation to have. Like, I don't think I would go with rings. If you told me what is the biggest impact Michael Jordan has had on basketball or sports or whatever, however you want to ask it, I think it's just his impact on how much power and influence athletes can have. Like, because he became a brand himself. You know what I'm saying?
He made the NBA global.
He made the NBA global, but you also got the Jordan brand, where like the Be Like Mike Gatorade stuff. He became bigger than the game. So I mean, actually, you probably couldn't even imagine that, right? So now moving on, you know, he's still an influence out there, right? But that's his impact on the game, right? Showing the world that athletes could be larger than life.
Yeah.
And like and handle it all and be bigger than the game they play, right? They had more power than they realized. Yeah. And I think the one thing that if you were to ask me what LeBron's greatness is, I wouldn't even go with rings at either. I wouldn't even talk. I don't even know. Honestly, at the top of my head, I don't even know. Is he won 4 or 5? I can't even remember.
4 now.
Yeah, if you put a gun to my head, I would get that wrong. Because I'm not even sure. He's played in that thing so much that I've kind of taken that for granted. I just know he's one of the all-time best ever, and he's been on that stage a lot. I'd have to so much that I'd have to look up that number to be sure how many times to make sure I'm right about it. You know. His impact is a lot like Michael's, in that he carried on that torch of like proving that the athlete is the
more
one.
than an athlete.
Yeah,
literally
more than an athlete.
Yeah.
Has influence to change not only the game. Now we're talking about like Michael Jordan changed basketball. He changed sports. He changed athlete imagery. Right. LeBron is like changing the world. Like
Mhm.
the way
He took the
people
torch and
see,
ran with it.
yeah, because he's not
Mhm.
he's not sweating that like ability to
Mhm.
intersect
Mhm.
real life with what he
Mhm.
does.
Mhm.
In fact, I would think that he just basketball is so easy to him now,
Mhm.
and because he's worked so much at it that he's so good at it that
Yeah.
I don't want to say he takes it for granted, but I think there's not much on the basketball court that worries him. Like
Mhm.
he's
I
seen
agree.
everything.
I
So
agree.
he's
I
out
think
there.
there. I
He's out
think
there. He
basketball.
can flip switches and go to
I
different levels at different paces, whatever he wants. He can turn it on.
yeah.
I think the other stuff is what he's trying to like focus a
Mhm.
lot, channel a
Mhm.
lot of his energy to, like his turn out the vote stuff this
I
summer,
agree. I don't think
speaking out
basketball
for
is the biggest
marginalized
like
people.
challenge in his life right now.
I agree. I think
That's I,
basketball is the thing that he can do in his sleep.
basketball is the thing that gets him to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
And then you just look at all the things he's doing in like not just the community, like wherever he lives, but like
The
the
world.
world community that he came from, right?
Yeah.
People of color,
Mhm.
poor economic situations,
Mhm.
opportunity zones where like there's like a system working against it, and
Mhm.
how do you rise
Mhm.
above it? How do you defeat
Mhm.
that?
And even just trying to educate people, like like some of the stuff I really liked with what he did with some of that more than about stuff. It made like even on Twitter and all the links that they had, uh I found it really easy to just navigate and uh learn things and like learn about the incarceration rates in Florida and about like how he had Udonis Haslam on a campaign trying to like how he got over uh three I don't want to misspeak, but I think it was over like 300,000 people, like people who were incarcerated or had been incarcerated. Um, in I think not in just Florida, but like in the United States, like to vote, like to be registered to vote because they didn't know, like they didn't know, and so some of that stuff just even in educating people like me who were just sitting scrolling on Twitter, like that's
Mhm.
huge, like that stuff I didn't know, like that
He
I
Yeah,
need to know,
he
like
used
that
social
we all
media
need to know.
to like speak truth to power, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
because it was maybe even in the past you could, I
Hmm.
mean, if you just watch culture, watch like stand-up
Hmm.
comedy, watch
Hmm.
just anything like
Hmm.
entertainment wise, it was
Hmm.
kind of embedded in the culture that that was a known
Hmm.
issue, but it
Hmm.
wasn't one that was taken so seriously that it couldn't also be like a punchline.
Yeah,
And I think
exactly.
what social media has done now in this last year is it's time to stop taking that stuff lightly,
Hmm. Hmm.
because this
No,
is
I
like
put.
this is literally how marginalized
Hmm.
generations of people are held down,
Yeah,
and you're going to
yeah.
keep running into the
No,
same
and
problems if you
and
don't
and
address it
and so
seriously.
you've seen Fresh Prince, right?
Yes.
So you know the famous scene from Fresh Prince when Jazz is in the office and he says, "Nope, dude's got a gun. I put my hands down and it's 6 warning shots in my back."
Hmm.
Like, how not funny is that now?
That's what I mean, right? But
You
that
know,
would,
like
yeah,
we try to make jokes of it on like a sitcom. We try to make jokes of it,
yeah.
and how it's like
Dave Chappelle's been doing it his
Dave Chappelle's been,
whole career.
and it's like, and it's like we try to make jokes of it, and you
Richard
just
Pryor,
and so
it goes back like all the
yeah,
way 60s.
we try to make jokes about it. So, and I'm sorry, I'm like trying to speak to crazy white America here. Like I'm like trying to make jokes about it, but like, come on, like
So
now it's not even funny because of the shit going on right now. Now it's serious. Like
yeah, that's
it's
what
not something like I.
I'm curious, like what was going through your mind when you, because I have a theory. I don't know if you're going to be on board with it, but I have a theory about what I don't even know what day it was now. Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I feel like I'm stuck in a time loop right now.
Me too.
Um, so yeah, I have a theory on what Wednesday was about, but I'm curious because you're a person of color and you have experienced those things in your life,
Hmm.
things that I haven't experienced just because of how I look.
Hmm.
I'm wondering what was going through your mind when you were watching that. And maybe I don't know, I want to wait to say my theory because I'm wondering how much it um locks in with yours. I'm just curious what was going through your mind when you were watching all that.
Dude, the first thing I just thought when it all happened, I was just like, how, like, and as a person of color, man, like I would just say, like, to like breach the Capitol, like you don't even think that's possible. I didn't even think that was a real thing. I didn't even think that you could do that.
Mhm.
Like, in like for it to like have been something that was like, and now I look at it and it was like a big circus joke. Like, and I feel like that's like I can't believe people live with that kind of luxury. Like I've never thought that that could ever be an okay thing, and to see how it was treated, and to see how like it all was just like a big sham and for show, kind of like, and like I just don't even. I just was like, how is this even happening? Like, and uh, I mean, later then I figured, like, I kind of tried to spin it, and when I was figuring out how, and I was like, I kind of know how is because I think, and this is me trying to make light of it after, I was like, I think the change that we're fighting, like you and I and countless others are fighting for, is starting to show, and people are getting upset about it, and that's what that was.
You just nailed it. Like when I tell you my theory, it's going to go right along with that.
Like
and we didn't talk about this before.
We did not talk about this before, man. But like, and I got this from, I actually got it from when I was watching on Wednesday night. I was watching ESPN, like the NBA Countdown show, and Jalen Rose said it. That's where I got it from. And he was like, yeah, like, I actually am excited because he's like, you don't get that mad and breach the Capitol unless you know your white supremacy and your values and everything is about to be torn down, like torn the fuck down, because it's not okay anymore and it's all being exposed. And so you don't get that mad where you're like, oh, we gotta, because you thought Congress was in all the cap, you thought that was all on your side at first. Nah, like the change is coming. So I mean, that's, I guess, the good way to look at it, but it's disgusting, man. It was disgusting to see. It's crazy that it came to that, and it's it's domestic terrorism. Like, and I'm gonna call it like I see it. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. It was awful to see, but I hope it is an indicator of good things to come.
I think, I knew we did say we wanted to talk about this, but we did not address how. So going into this, when I was just trying to think about the thoughts I wanted to convey, I was trying to find a reasonable avenue to lay these points out. And then maybe 90% of the way through that, I was like, screw it. I don't want to be reasonable about this.
There's no read.
I don't think there is. I don't think
this is not the time.
The forces that we as people who care about others, regardless of background and color and creed and ethnicity and where you come from, the people who think that equality is something worth striving for and not yet attained, I'm done reasoning with people who oppose that. I agree. If you oppose that still, you have sinister, something sinister about you that
sinister ignorance.
You need to figure out.
It's a sinister ignorance.
Yeah, we're either gonna extract that from you by force, or you're gonna deal with that on your own. And when you come back to the table, you're gonna understand why everybody needs to just that kind of behavior is not acceptable. Like, there are no differences. You got, like, you can't buy and don't tell me it wasn't because of that. Everything that happened on Wednesday. And I hope it's the culmination. I hope that's the worst it gets. I don't think it is. I think they're going to come back. But I hope that's the culmination. But it is the culmination of the sort of re-emergence of white supremacy to the mainstream. And it all started the minute, like, Barack Obama became president. Because the rhetoric around what he stood for just became utterly irrational. Like, Barack Obama was a center-left politician, right?
Correct.
Like, all this garbage about these boogeyman words like socialism and Marxism
but that's how
all these undefined buzzwords that you're supposed to latch onto as like a patriotic American, that you're supposed to oppose. That's how bad out of sight. Like, hold up.
In terms of divisiveness.
Yeah, but it started like that because you saw the rhetoric on not only from politicians and leaders opposing what he stood for, which, again, we're talking about center-left politics.
Yeah.
We don't have Medicare for all. We don't have, like, socialized medicine. We don't have, our public school system is worse than ever. Like, all these like scare tactics that you tried to pull off, he didn't implement any of that garbage. He didn't, you don't have like Black Panthers running the streets shooting people. Like, it's not like this takeover of your country that you were talking about. But on conservative channels, conservative needs to get out of our lexicon too, because there's nothing conservative about these people's ideas anymore. They are extremists.
Well, yeah. What's conservative about breaching the Capitol?
What
part of that is conservative? What's
conservative about that? Right.
What are you conserving? Like, I don't understand that.
No. And so all of that, it's about, like you said, it's exactly how you said it. White supremacy feels like their backs are against the wall.
It's attacked.
It's not just attacked. Like, they feel like there's nowhere to go but to push back in an extreme way.
So
that's what the Capitol was about. Because you see the shirts they're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
You see the shirts they're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
How many people of color were at that thing? Come on, dude. Like, just use your eyeballs. Mute the camera, mute the television, and just look at the people that were in that building doing what they were doing. Don't tell me that's America. That's white America, the part of it that still feels like they should be the rulers of this land, pushing back because they believe some demagogue in Donald Trump, for all people. Like, why you felt like that was the vessel to ride into this retakeover of your country, okay? Behind all your stupid rhetoric that has no meaning behind it, all this radical left garbage. Like, it's progress. That's the word. You're against that because it stands
absolutely
not away. It's not the status quo.
Yo,
so that's what that was. They're wearing Camp Auschwitz sweatshirts. 6 MWE, 6 million wasn't enough. That's reference to the Holocaust. These people are not for equality. They're not for a country that moves forward into the 21st century, embracing cultures of all backgrounds. They want that Anglo-Saxon, like, white America back, where they are the rulers, their segregation, all that kind of stuff. That's the seeds of all of this right here. Don't say it's anything else.
You can't argue.
I'm done having these reasonable conversations about political differences because no one stormed the Capitol over fucking tax cuts. No one stormed the Capitol over healthcare for all. They stormed the Capitol because they're seeing a country that is becoming more of a melting pot than they like to admit. Okay, where cultures are mixing, where everybody wants equality.
They don't like that.
They don't want that.
Like that.
Don't tell me that's not what it's about. You don't want that because you're attacking your own now. You killed a cop. You beat a cop. You could have killed more had you, like, the Washington Post reporter said, we were seconds away, not minutes, not hours, seconds away from, like, this mob of lunatics getting into the Senate chamber, and just, like, they had ropes ready to hang people. They had those zip tie handcuffs. They were going to kill people. Don't act like this was just some, like, mob that was out there just, like, trying to make noise. They were trying to hurt people. That's what they were there for. And they might come back. I don't think they're done. Like, you have to stamp that out. You can't ignore that and be like, let's listen. It got a little too hot in the kitchen. You did some crazy stuff. We did some crazy stuff. Let's all come together now and forget our differences. No. Stamp that out. No. By any means necessary. If you have to push them off social media, if you have to get their messages away from pop culture so they can't have a voice, yes, stamp that out. It's time to stop letting bad people just, have petty differences. There are consequences of that shit. Okay? They're trying to do harm to a large segment of the population. A larger segment of the population than them. That's what they're afraid of. This is like white supremacy's last stand, because they know they're the minority now and they don't like it. Because why they don't like it? Do you know why they don't like being the minority anymore in terms of their ideas? Because they know how they treated the minority of different ideas back in the day. They know that. They're like, I don't want to be treated like that. What they don't realize is not going to be like that, because the side you're opposing doesn't want to drag you from the streets and hang you from a tree.
Exactly.
They just want equality for themselves. Exactly. So that's what Wednesday was about. Wednesday was about white supremacists not being cool with the fact that, oh my God, if we are the minority now, how are they going to treat us after we treated them? That's in their heads. That's in their DNA. That's what they've been born and bred to believe, is that you treat the minority population this way, and they're afraid it's going to come back on them. That's what that was about.
That's the truth.
Point blank. That's the end of the
Point
story.
blank.
So don't reason with these people. Don't unite with them. Don't heal them. Fuck them. Fuck them. If they believe that, if they want to continue to believe that, go somewhere else.
Straight up.
Go start your own little like power, superpower in the world. Go ahead.
You said it. We tried. We tried to be reasonable. Was reasonable. I said when I don't want to say his name. When he was elected, I was like, you know what? I was even then. Let me be reasonable. Maybe the economy will be better. Maybe it'll be better for me when I graduate college. The economy will be better set up, and it'll be great.
Yeah, global pandemic.
That was being reasonable. That was being reasonable. Where did that get us? So no, it's not time to be reasonable.
The worst year of my life, and I've lived through 9/11. Yeah,
and it's not time to be reasonable. You're right. No. It's not time to be reasonable. It's really not.
I remember 9/11. I was 16, I think. Mm-hmm. No, I wasn't 16. I was I think I just turned 16. I was in high school. So I was in a sophomore debate class, and I remember like someone coming in just frantic, like turn on the TV, plane just hit the tower or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, the second one hadn't even hit, I don't think. Like, and then so the reality of that day set in, and you're like, holy crap, some like foreign power just like attacked America. Like, what the hell, man?
This is what I'm like, but
you know what the difference between that day? You know what the difference between that day and Wednesday was?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, because I'm gonna hit on it after.
Yeah, a couple. One, it was a foreign power, a foreign entity, right? Like
I'm gonna take this one
you could easily make them enemies of what you stand for, right? Mm-hmm. It was just easier to target. Mm-hmm. And it unified everyone because they attacked us. Okay. Mm-hmm. Wednesday was us attacking us. Okay. So you can't unify that. You have to fight that. Mm-hmm. You have to combat that.
And this is what the problem is, right? This make America great again bullshit. So you want to make it back to when we were getting, you just want our terrorism to be overseas. You don't want domestic terror. So that's what you liked, right? Yeah. And then it's like, wait, maybe we should have taken it as a sign when all these other, like when these places were like, when 9/11 happens, right? And it's like, oh, like we Bush, we're just, oh, it's okay. Like, no, it's the same shit. It's just a different group. Like, it's just like, I'm like, okay, like, what do you want to make America great again when it was just domestic or foreign terrorism? Now it's domestic, like this. What part of this?
And you saw how they reacted, right? We went into 2 wars over this shit, over what happened on 9/11, right? Because we were like, oh, that's never happening again. Okay, so let me ask you something. Well, everybody that like banded together to overtake this corrupt. First of all, the premise for all of this horse shit is utter lies.
Utterly ridiculous.
These theories have had their day in court over and 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 over again. They've been thrown out on their ass every time, to the point now where the people that were bringing these things to court are getting sued and having to print retractions and all. Like, they're cowards. Yeah. They riled up a mob. And the mob
that's a cult,
stormed the U.S. Capitol.
You can't tell me right now. No one can tell me right now that was a protest of any. That was a cult, man.
No, you know how it's not a protest? If that were a Black Lives Matter protest,
everyone's dead. Yeah, everyone's fucking dead.
They are annihilating that whole swath of people. Yeah. You saw the way they were treated, right? Yeah, like police were undermanned all of a sudden. Like there was National Guard. The Department of Defense were like, hold up on the National Guard for
taking selfies with cops,
like an hour and a half. Yeah, don't tell me that's the same. That's not the same world.
Opening the gates up for them. I marched in Boston. I went to the Capitol in Boston. You know how they were up there, guns, everything ready. No, none of us were like, oh, we're gonna breach this place. We didn't even think that. That wasn't even the point. That was their purpose of being there. Like, what? You can't tell me there's not 2 Americas. Like, you can't tell me that.
That's what I mean. That's what Wednesday was. Like, Wednesday was white supremacy pushing back. That's all that was.
Because
there is it's not about voting.
Because they're realizing the America that they didn't have to live in is soon gonna overtake all. Like, that scares the shit out of them.
It does.
And I hope we're fucking right. Like, I hope this change is like coming, because it's getting harder and harder to believe in when shit like this happens. But at least this one, I'm like. At least this one, it was a real reaction from.
I just don't. I don't know. I want to hope, but I don't think we've seen the worst. Like, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit.
Hey,
I'm afraid that we haven't, because if you
Yeah.
just hear them, if you just hear the way they talk
Yeah.
coming out, because they didn't get punished. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
They
this
didn't get.
you hear the way they
There
talk.
was no deterrent. Not even Trump's getting punished for inciting that shit. He should have been arrested on sight, dragged out of the White House in cuffs, wherever they found him. Like he is the reason for it. His lawyer Rudy Giuliani's out here talking about trial by combat, stamping the podium. His son is out on the stage talking about fight for your country. All that was incited by them. They need to be arrested. The people that didn't need to be arrested, they need to be put away for a long time. But
I just don't understand how these people who
they
listen to
ushered
him.
this mob out. They ushered this mob out of the Capitol like it was like some kind of like rave that went.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said.
They were all yelling. They're like, "We'll be back. We'll be back, and we won't be peaceful next time. We'll be back. We'll be back." Every single to a man.
That's what I said when I was like,
"Remember when the door was like murder the media?"
Yo,
they were all walking out of that door like they just left a fucking concert.
Because back me up, like I said, and I was like, "Yo, it was like when I initially happened, and I was like, how could that happen? How could they even get in, man?" Because I went to the Capitol I did that too, and I'm like, I couldn't have imagined us even trying. But then I'm also like,
what would you do once you got in there? Like, what's your point?
And that's what I'm looking at on the news and on my phone and reading articles, the Washington Post and all that, and I'm like, this looks like a fucking concert. Like the dudes were in it, like taking selfies dressed up, like it looked like goddamn GOP Coachella. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, it was.
Like, come on.
It was like cult Coachella, basically.
It was like a cult Coachella. Like,
they got Trump flags. Like they threw the freaking United States flag off the thing and put the Trump flag there.
Oh, but no, Kaepernick kneeled, but you guys were burning an American flag in the State House. Oh,
dude, yeah.
But don't say. I don't want to hear shit about Kaepernick.
No one better stand for the national anthem ever again until that's addressed.
Ever.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. Get out of here.
It's a joke, dude. It's a joke. To think that that's like on the same plane as what happened this summer. Like, oh well.
I can't believe that.
And BLM and all this false equivalency. You know what I hate about that too is because you can't even have a conversation about an issue anymore without whataboutism being the first goddamn response. You can't. You can't talk about the U.S. Capitol without someone telling you a building that burned down or a business that got its windows broken out in the summer. And I'm like, okay, first of all,
that's not the fucking Capitol.
First of all, that's not the Capitol, but that's minor to that. First of all, what happened this summer were protests against blatant police brutality, right?
And social
and
like,
white supremacy too. Ahmaud Arbery was murdered in the fucking street like a stray animal with rabies, okay? And he didn't get charges pressed against his killers until 70-something days later. They were going to let them off without the protests.
They went home and had a beer that night. I read that story.
We all watched George Floyd get murdered on camera. That dude just sat on his neck. And you're trying to tell me he had a counterfeit 20 and drugs in his system, so they had to sit on his neck or he would have been unruly.
Yeah, and you're trying to tell me, and you're also trying to tell me the Black Lives Matter protest reenacted scenes of police brutality? Really? That's what they did? No.
That's what I'm saying.
Breach did. Reenacted I saw the video. And I'm going to try to be calm as I say it.
Damian Jefferson retweeted it, right?
Yeah. Nothing has ever
kneeling on the neck on the stairs. Yeah.
How is that like even like that? You literally have to have something sick in like wrong with your brain, which is what is wrong with a lot of these people. Yes, I'm attacking them. I'm not holding back. I don't care. Like you have to have something sick in your brain.
They hate you, Jordan. They hate you.
Oh, I know.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I wanted to come on here when I knew we were going to talk about it, and I wanted to be reasonable. And then I'm like, wait a minute.
I don't want to.
Why am I reasoning with
why you can't be reasonable with unreasonable people?
Yeah, they want half of this podcast wiped out essentially.
Yes.
So fuck them. I don't want to be reasonable with these people. I don't want to give them platforms. I don't want to let them say their piece. No. I know what you stand for. I have history books. We've read about this stuff.
And you want to know what
you had your run. You had your run where you ruled the country, where you enslaved an entire race of people and built this country off their backs. We've seen that. We learned it already. You don't get that anymore because that's wrong. It's morally wrong. It's economically wrong. However you want to wrong it, whatever category you want to throw it in, you cannot have a country like that anymore. It is wrong. Get that out of your head. I'm not reasoning with you anymore. There is no argument. There is no healthy debate over this. Well, no, it's not. You got to stop criminalizing black communities over marijuana possession, over marijuana usage. You need to help these communities. You need to funnel money into them so their education systems are better, so their school systems are better, so there's more jobs in the area, so they have better housing and better communities. You got to stop this crap.
Equality.
Yeah, you freed the slaves and then you told them to fend for themselves after you already had a head start. Stop it.
And they want to go back to that. They realize, you know, it's fucking crazy. We're actually starting to catch up, and it scares them.
It is. That's what I'm saying. That's what this is. All this is a pushback against equality. Yeah. It's like, no, whoa. We got like an order of operations here. This is not how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
No, that it is. You're gonna lose because you're the minority. You know it, and you're not the minority based on how you look. This podcast is an example of that. You and I look different, but we're aligned ideologically, right? It's not about how you look anymore. It's about what you believe. If you believe dangerous shit that harms a segment of the population, I don't got time for you anymore. And the rest of the country doesn't either. So you got to stop. I don't care how many times you say this is our America and all that crap. You are the minority. However you want it to go down, you will lose in the end. Because you've always lost throughout history. Yes. There is no historical background for you to lean on in terms of like a battle plan here. Whether you want to get physical with it or whether you want to get like systemic with it. You know what I'm saying? You lose. Yeah. You lose when voices speak truth to power. That's why you want these votes thrown out. Just by a coincidence, they happen to be heavy areas of people of color. That's just the areas we want thrown out. By sheer coincidence.
Just sheer coincidence.
It's just a coincidence. It just so happens that all these corrupt cities, according to your cult leader, happen to be heavy black cities. Like, oops, that's just ignore that part. It's not.
Ignore that part.
Yeah, it's not really. It's not about how you look. It's just what you think and stuff. You know.
No, and the worst
shit.
The worst.
You're the 81 million people.
And what we're done doing now.
People voted for Joe Biden. Why? Because of what he opposed. You think Joe Biden was the candidate for everybody?
70 million still voted for cult master Trump, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's what, and I said,
problem, but they're still the minority.
No, man, so I said this, and this is just like, even you, and I'm speaking to white America again, like straight up, this is like all white people. What's fucking really uncomfortable now for Black America and me and like my experience, and like this is a conversation I had with my brother. It's like, now it's not like, what's scary about it now, it's like every day you go out, it's like I have to worry now when I'm meeting like a white person and I have just a social interaction, I'm like, are you a cool white person or are you with the 70?
Yeah, what do you think of me? Yeah,
you know, like and it's just what we all think now, because it's what we all have to think.
It's hard, dude. I've honestly had this, like,
I have to, like, when
every day I'm like who believes in this man?
Any white man I have an interaction with, any grown white man I have an interaction with, no matter what, whether it's at work, whether it's for a job, whether we talking sports, no matter what it is, it's like we can have this casual conversation and it's fine, like cool. But in the back of my head, I have to think, is he one of them? Like, I know that from my close people, but how weird is that? I just graduated college. I'm going out into the world now, and this is like what I have to think. Like I'm like, in America, at least, like in America now, I gotta I'm like, that's a weird feeling to have to think every day. But this is what it's come to. At least because
you don't want to like sit in a sports bar and have a conversation with someone about like a game.
I don't want to have a conversation about some sports.
Talk about LeBron with some dude or whatever, and then you walk out on the street and like, you know, 5 minutes after they lose sight of you, then like you get shot and killed, and then their first reaction is like, well, what did he do? You know? Oh, really? That should not be your first reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Your first reaction was that dude just got murdered, and that's wrong. But they always lean to why did he get shot? What did he do?
Exactly. And so what we're done doing now after this, like what you're saying, we're done being reasonable. You know what else we're done doing? Justifying for that fuck. Like we're done. Yeah. Like, and the people and anybody who can sit here and justify it to me, don't talk to me. don't even try because I don't want to talk to you. Like if in any type of way you could just try to justify like, oh, but I made more money in the time, but at what fucking cost?
Yeah.
My taxes were
Well,
better.
no cost to them. That's the point.
That's my problem though. Like
They're afraid. They're afraid what happens to them
but you can't see out of your you can't see outside of yourself
right.
enough now. If you can't now, don't even.
You know what I used to hear growing up?
Very, very short list of things we could even talk about.
I come from a town of like 10,000 or so in like eastern Nebraska or whatever. So like it's it's predominantly white, but you get a mixture, right? Like I evolved into being able to like understand other cultures and backgrounds and whatnot.
Yep.
But growing up, like it wasn't like that. I had one black family in my neighborhood my whole entire life. And whether I hated them or not, I didn't, but like whether I thought about it or not, there were subliminal like parts of me that thought they don't belong in this neighborhood. They stand out just because of who they were. So, and I don't hate them. So what if I did? How much damage could I have done if I hated people that were different?
How much damage could you do? And how much damage?
What if that whole neighborhood? What if that whole neighborhood hated?
That's what I was just about to say.
What if they move? They move into an area where they're not wanted because of who they are and what they look like. And that's what I'm saying. There's like this whole like, oh, compassionate conservatism. Like that doesn't exist. These are words that mean nothing. They don't mean anything anymore. It's time to either believe in progress or you believe in hate. It's the bottom line.
Oh wow, yeah,
bottom line.
Not wrong. Because you know what the crazy thing is, and Seth Rogen said this on the Shop, LeBron, right? He was like, the problem with race in America is there's no acknowledgement. Like the problem is like we have yet like no. I mean, like Obama obviously acknowledges it to like whatever degree because he's a black man, but like no one in office has ever done anything to like acknowledge slavery, even like speak about it. Like, and I mean, now it's forced like Joe Biden and we see how he gets on and like says about it, but that's obviously just because of the social climate of America right now, and he's forced to, and he at least probably has the right people in telling him what to say. So
it does come off empty though when he says, like, okay, dude, like you're a 78-year-old white man. Yeah.
Why did it take till this many presidents for us to even get to addressing slavery, like in some fashion, and systemic racism?
That's why I went back. That's why I went back.
Well known.
Yeah, that's why I went back to my like my original theory was it started when the white man in charge the trend got bucked.
Yeah.
44 presidents in. Centuries of power. You know what I mean? It's insane. It's insane that
you see what those same people that just breached the cap, those were the people who were the most mad when Obama became president. Those were the people who were ready to fucking leave America because of that. Like those are the people.
No question. 100% of that crowd. 100% of that crowd.
Beijing Biden. Those are those people. Those are those people.
Yeah. No,
making up the names and everything. Yeah, that's who that was. We saw it.
It was out of control. But we know though. Like we see it for what it is. Yeah. You can't. It's the thing that's really shameful about it is growing up. You're like, I'm 35 now, so 9/11 happened at 16. So basically, from that was like an eyes wide open moment right there. You're like, oh my God, there are people who hate America and what it stands for, because you're brought up to believe for a lot of good reasons. I don't think it's all a BS narrative, but you're grown up to believe that America, the United States of America, is the land of opportunity for all races, colors, creeds, everything. It's a place where
that's what they try to pump into.
We are like the beacon
while they enslave
of
and all
hope.
This bullshit happens behind the door.
Yeah, a beacon of hope for the whole world, the standard bearer for a democratic society.
These are the lives.
Where the people have a choice and they can speak to power, whatever.
Sounds good.
Policies and positions. Yeah,
sounds good.
And then you start to ask yourself some questions. You're like, wait a minute.
Is that?
Why did it take so long to have a black president?
Yeah.
Why did it take so
No.
long to have a woman vice president?
Yeah.
Why are like, you know, 10
Because we preach
why
one
are like
thing and do another.
why are there 12 why are
we-
there like 10 billionaires who are black in this country? Like, why?
You want to know what's funny?
Like,
No, me and my brother.
why are there only like 4 senators who are colored? Like, what's, you know, you start to
No,
peel it back a
it's
little
funny.
bit. And you're like,
It's
why
because
is all the wealth and ownership in this country white and not
because
like
the American dream is it's a lie, and we're fed lies when we like race, and the way they teach it in schools is messed up. We need to start there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to learn about the American Revolution or slavery or the civil rights ever again. Like it was some fucking walk in the park, cupcake, haha, Martin Luther King is the savior shit ever again. Because that's how you taught in the suburbs. I know. Like I lived there. I went through it. We all have. And like we need to start there first of all. But like I just think there's such a problem in America. We're feeding you like, oh, we believe in equality and equal for all, but we don't actually act that way.
It's
like,
cookie cutter. It's history. It's cookie cutter
BS,
history.
Right? Because like, for example, like I don't know, you saw like even Marlon Stewart tweeted it. Like, remember the Pledge of Allegiance? Remember that we used to? I pledge justice and liberty for all. Why you're mad? People are kneeling for what? Well, I would have knelt in my 6th grade homeroom if I heard that. Like, am I 6th grade? I would have knelt in my 6th grade homeroom. Justice and liberty. Come on,
if you
man.
knew what you knew now, right? Yeah,
Miss me with that.
You know what? Like it's just like there's so much history that we're not taught that you learn later in life. And it's hard to believe
that's
it's
where
real.
The problem starts.
Remember when Anthony Tolliver was at Creighton talking about like Black Wall Street and all this stuff like that?
Yes.
Like,
and nobody knew about it.
Nobody knows. These people are in college or older. They don't know about this stuff.
No one. And this is so. I don't mean to go too deep into this tangent of like the miseducation of America, but America is so miseducated, and I really mean that. Like, and I am very, very fortunate.
Not undereducated, but miseducated. Like they're
miseducated, not undereducated, miseducated.
Yeah. They're educated plenty on what power wants them to know. Right?
On what power wants you to know. And I've been very lucky. I've had some of the most prestigious. I've been gone to some of the most prestigious schools in high school. Creighton University, one of the best schools, like very good college, like all that, right? Like, and I have had some of the best learning, and I've took it upon myself to even now further educate myself. So like, I know America's miseducated, and you know how I know? Because you can't tell me anybody who just tried to storm the Capitol hasn't been miseducated, and anybody who's trying to support Donald Trump, 70 million of them, aren't miseducated in some way. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me they aren't, because somewhere along the line, they took something from their history book or whatever and decided that was justification enough to not have to deal with what's going on in real communities and real life, real society. Because they were like, oh, that's actually not what's going on. No, it is. It is really what's going on. And like, you just can't see outside of yourself enough to figure that out. And so that's just like, it's all like, just like I'm going on a tangent here, but it's just true, man.
Dude, we're just cutting this because this is what we needed. This is like a therapy session, but
yeah.
We could go for days.
We could definitely.
And we're gonna. I hope we don't have to flesh this out more. I hope this was the last of it, but, God forbid if we have to talk about this again. But
I mean,
I don't know. I needed to get some shit off my chest. I felt like you need to get some shit off your chest too. Like, so.
Yeah, and we have a platform, so let's do it.
Oh yeah.
I think we're preaching a message of equality. I really do. I think, no, seriously, like
do.
As crazy as everything we've been saying, like we are coming from the place of equality and progress. Both of us are in that place. There's some things you don't know. There's some things I don't know. Maybe whatever we've even said in this, some things we got emotional, but like I'll say for myself, definitely. But like the point is, we're coming at it from a place of like, we believe in equality and we see hate, and we don't like that can't exist in an equal world. And so we're calling out hate where we see it. We're calling out inequalities where we see it. That's what we're doing. And we're going to use this podcast to do it. And I don't care who likes it and who doesn't, because we have this and they don't. And so that's how we're going to ride with it. And we're going
to learn and grow together, but we're going to do it with the right intentions.
We're going to do it with the right intentions.
We're not reasoning with the opposing force anymore. Like that's
absolutely.
We know, we've learned enough throughout history to know what they stand for. And it's not something we're going back to.
It's not what we want.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's just, I shouldn't say it's not what we want. It's not what's right, man. It's not.
Yeah, that's the point. It's not about like what we
It's not what
want.
we want. It's not what I think's right. It's not what Matt thinks right. It's about what's right.
It's
It's
what's
literally
right for humanity. It's what's right for Black people, white
like
people,
we're not even arguing
Latinos. Like
bias.
it doesn't matter.
Like when we get on in here and argue, like LeBron and Jordan, that's an opinion. You have
Yeah.
your opinion. I have my opinion. That's cool. You don't have an opinion on basic human rights. Like
Right.
we're done being reasonable about this shit. And I'm glad we set it in stone today.
100%. We're done being reasonable. See you next week.